The season is here again. For most people who can't afford to, it's time to make merry and bond with family. Well, your safety is paramount to us here at JoyNews. So today we'll be sharing with you safety tips, what could come in handy this festive season. I'll introduce you to my guests shortly, but first, let's take a listen to some of the persons at the bus terminals here in Accra and speak to some passengers who are traveling home to celebrate the festive season. My colleague Richard Kojonyako has been out and about.
This is the VIP bus terminal. We are dozens of hours away from Christmas. As usual, the place is very busy. People are traveling to Accra to celebrate Christmas. Others are also leaving Accra to their various destinations. They tell me that usually they do their travels on the 24th, but now because everyone is fixated on the 24th, they want to leave early to avoid the usual traffic that's on the way. A lot of them have been telling me that even though there is no money in their pockets, but once they have life, they must celebrate Christmas to the fullest. I've been interacting with them.
You know how the system is. Definitely, we will manage. With a few things that we have, we actually manage with our families. That is why we want to go back and see them. Because tomorrow, 24th, definitely, as you see, getting car is a little bit difficult. So we are trying as much as possible to go back home and catch up with the family.
I'm Lodina.
So where are you traveling to?
I'm going to Sunyani. We're not expecting anything much, but at least the year has ended and then we have to go and meet family members and then have some chit-chat with them and know what will happen the next year. So that's why we are going home. There's no money in the system, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't meet our family too. So we have to. Anyway that we have to get the money to go home, we have to go and then meet them and yeah.
Because share.
Because
Streets so it's scout. Yababa yawana na yoko. Esan beba. Esan beba.
Tell me where you are traveling to.
Okay, I'm from Dubai. I'm going to Sunyani.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you came because of this Christmas?
Yeah, I came because of Christmas.
Wow.
I want to come and visit my family and go back.
Actually, we came all the way from Kumasi to this place. Yeah, I came with my family, as you can see there, right? Yeah, with me. Yeah, we are here because of the Christmas. We're going to West Hills, Kaswa. Yes, along Kaswa Road. Yeah, we'll be going there to have fun, which is on the 25th. Yes. So basically, and then right from that, we'll have some small family get together in the house. Yeah, so basically that's what we'll be doing. Yeah. There's no money, but what do we do? You live with it. You have no option. Would you say there's no money, so you not eat? Obviously, you eat. Yes. So there's no money. Like yes, everybody is lamenting there's no money. Indeed, there's no money, but we still have to eat.
Oh, say I feel sweet, scan it here. Yebedi. Yedia. Esa ode adwenoto ho. Said the beya. Also, Okeska, and Emo.
It is not only about the celebration of Christmas that they are concerned about, but they also have concerns about road safety. In this period, the U-tide period, a lot of accidents do occur, and they want to caution passengers, not only drivers, but passengers as well, to keep their eyes on the road to ensure that they get to their destinations safely. They have some pieces and snippets of advice for drivers and passengers.
They should be very careful with the course of their driving, because at this festive season, everybody wants to go and at least come back, and that is where the caution must actually comes in. So we expect that they will tread cautiously. They will actually be law-abiding citizens in the course of driving, so that all of us will be able to get back home safely.
I think this year, the accidents, we didn't hear much about it. So I think the drivers too are doing very well. And the passengers too are comporting themselves very good. So I think it's very good for this year. Yeah. I would say every driver should take care, drive safely, no overtaking, overspeeding, and anything that will cause any harm to any individual. Yeah.
During this time, what I would tell the drivers is to slow down. Follow roadworthy, obey the instructions, obey the police, and obey the passengers. we will pass through.
They should pay attention to the traffic lights. When the traffic light, when there's defective in the traffic lights, they should try and then maneuver their way in a way that will not cause any accidents. Yes.
From the VIP bus terminal here at Circle, my name is Richard Kwejenyako for JoyNews.
Well, a lot of issues to explore as we enter this festive season. I want to tell you about my guest joining me via Zoom because you do know that there's road safety issues to explore, security, and also some expenditure to come along with it. Let's bring in Head of Regulation, Inspection and Compliance at the National Road Safety Authority, Kwame Kodia-Chahini. We also do have a CFO, Timothy Safo-Efum, who's the Public Relations Officer for the Ghana National Fire Service. We'll be sharing with you some tips on how you can also spend. Don't forget that security is also on the agenda. Dr. Adam Bona will help us with that, and we'll hear from economist and Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, Professor John Gachi, who's joining us as well. So, gentlemen, welcome to the show. Let's start with Mr. Chanihini on this, the issue about road safety. Many of the patrons there we've spoken to are concerned about their safety on the roads this season. What measures are you putting in place just to whip up that awareness amongst the drivers, as well as passengers who are using the roads this year?
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon to my friends on the line. Adams, it's good to have you on the other side. I think from the beginning of the year, we try to improve upon our visibility and also our relationship with the operators, because ultimately we have the responsibility to bring down the numbers. But during festive seasons, as we have the early tide pending, that's every reason that we need to improve upon our visibility, because motorization often is increased, and when there's increased motorization, the risk to crashes appear to be high. There are a number of things we are doing to try to manage the trend. You would notice that from January to November this year, on a month-to-month basis compared to last year, there's been a steady decline in all the major indicators. But we do not have the luxury to go to sleep. We need to intensify these efforts. So top of my mind, first, we are increasing our visibility, our outreach programs at churches, marketplaces, at terminals, where we take the basic safety message to commuters and drivers. We remind them of the basic things we require of them, the fact that they must obey traffic regulations, drive safely, avoid needless overtaking, kill the speed, and manage driver fatigue. The second is that with the help of our inspectors, about 100 of them across country, we have improved upon pre-departure checks. So we have profiled about 150 terminals, and at these terminals, what we do is to ensure that vehicles leaving these terminals meet the minimum safety condition. The driver meets the minimum safety condition, and we engage the operators where there are gaps. We try to ensure that they are managed. During this season, historically, the core concerns we've had is driver fatigue and speeding. You notice throughout the year, we have been enforcing and trying to deal with the issue of maximum driving hours. So for long distance routes, some in excess of 500 kilometers or 8 hours, we are at a difficulty to allow one driver to run the journey. So we've been talking to operators about logbooks, the need to deploy 2 drivers to take mandatory rest and the likes. In the period leading to the festive seasons, we have deployed a number of mystery passengers, some of whom are volunteers, others are stakeholders who are on these routes. All they are required to do is to monitor driver behavior and ensure that they are taking their mandatory rest and changing over where the trip is in excess of 8 hours, and where there are breaches in real time, they get us informed. And through our network with the police, we are able to provide immediate remedial actions. At the end of the day, as some of the commuters have said, Christmas is a season for reunion. And top of our education to road users is that, we need to travel with the expectation to meet the family, to reflect on the year and project ahead. So there's no point taking very needless risk. For instance, it doesn't make any sense to drive at high speeds. And we tell them from all the studies we have done, if 2 vehicles leave Kumasi for Accra, and one decides that I would speed, disregard all the speed limits and indulge in all the negative conduct, and the other decides to abide by regulations, drive within speed, all the evidence research we have done points out that the first driver will arrive, the second driver will arrive not later than 5 minutes. So all the risky choices we make, the amount of time that you are likely to save is just 5 minutes, and it doesn't help anybody to take such a risk for just 5 minutes, which you could even save if you plan your journey very well to avoid these laps. So we think that the education is going well. Our collaboration with the police and support, particularly from the media, has been quite instructive. It is our expectation that we'll keep the reduction on the ascendancy so that we can end the year on a high, reflect, and try to sustain the gains for 2023.
And I recall earlier this year, the Ghana Police Service announcing some measures where, of course, they would elect at least one of the passengers to keep the driver in check. How are you collaborating with the Ghana Police Service on that?
Our collaboration has been great because this discussion was based on the commuters or the long distance. I forgot to raise that, but haven't brought it up. Within the urbanized areas, so this year again, when you look at the numbers, you notice some improvement in motorcycle-related numbers or crashes. Today, in the city of Accra, we all bear witnesses that motor riders get to traffic intersections and they stop. And because of the improvement in the way they use the road, we are beginning to see some reduction in motorcycle-related numbers. It is because we are working with the police on what they call police invisible eye and also police action against rider indiscipline. And it is beginning to yield some results. We've had reason to commend the IGP in recent weeks together with his team. And that's the sort of spirit we'll expect, that public sector institutions, duty bearers must find the opportunity to work together for a common purpose. At the end of the day, we are all at the mercy of the road, and we must commit to do more to improve the safety situation for our collective good. And the last 6 months to 1 year, I think that our relationship with the police has been very encouraging, and there's every reason for us to find means to sustain that.
We'll be exploring the data shortly, but I also want to bring in others. Let's speak to ACFO Timothy Asafo. Of course, we heard of that announcement. Controversial as though it may be, we need to get some explanations to that. So what we do know is that the National Fire Service is asking, be it a church or any organization that intends to do the bonfire night, to get certification. I don't know if I'm using the words right, from the fire service. ACFO, is there any clarity to that? And what's informing that position this time around?
Thank you very much. Yes, we realize that even though use of firecrackers is banned in Ghana, during this period, the use is on the ascendancy. And therefore, it is appropriate that we advise the public on the proper use of such materials so they don't result in the unwanted fires that we want to prevent. And that is why we issued our statement that if you want to do any occasion involving firecrackers, then you need to get in touch with the fire service so that we will be able to help you effectively manage the situation.
What would it change, by the way? Because many would say, we've been using the crackers all these years.
Yes, we've been using the crackers all these years, but we are not using it appropriately. And therefore, in few instances, they result in either injury or they start fires. And that is why we want to this time ensure that the appropriate thing is done.
So take us through the process then. What would an organization, or say a group of people who are organizing Christmas fanfares, I mean, what would they require in either lighting or perhaps carrying out this exercise in terms of using the crackers?
So around this time, if you want to use any firecracker, you just need to get in touch with the fire service. We will assess the situation, whether we need to send you just men to help or we send a fire tender to be on standby. It is advisable that around this time, firecrackers are not used during the day because of the temperatures. It is advisable for the firecrackers to be used in the evening where you have temperatures coming down so that they don't result in fire outbreaks. And depending on the level of firecrackers you want to use, that is what will determine whether we send you men to guide you or we send a fire tender and the crew as well.
Beyond that, what more, policy measures are you putting in place to ensure that this Christmas festivity is free of any form of incident? Say an outbreak, which connects much more to your mandate.
So once we talk about firecrackers, let's get to cleaning of our environment. Most often, because we are in the season, we clear around our homes. And the next thing is to burn these bushes. What is happening is that every combustible material at this particular point in time is very dry. And therefore, once you start a fire, once we have the winds blowing, the embers are carried, and wherever they fall, they start another fire. So we advise the general public that within this period, even if you have cleared your home or your surroundings, do not burn the rubbish or the withered bush, because if you burn, the likelihood of a fire starting within or beyond your locality is very, very high. And if you still need to burn, then you need to get in touch with the fire service to assist you in the burning, so it doesn't result in another fire elsewhere. Again, because we are in the season, we tend to use a lot more electricity. Now we draw more power, and most often this power is drawn from just one socket by using extension board. Every socket has its strength or power within which power can be drawn from that socket. And so if you exceed the power that socket can withstand, what happens is that the insulator on the cable will melt. As soon as they melt, you have the positive and negative coming together, and you start a fire in your home. So it is advisable for each and every one of us who need additional outlet to get in touch with a qualified electrician, and I repeat, qualified electrician, one that has been sanctioned or permitted by the Energy Commission to do electrical works. Such people are in a position to give you more sockets so that you can draw power to each and every one equipment that you want to use. Again, around this time, we put up what we call the Christmas tree with the lighting. Now, what is happening is that this lighting systems create heat, and heat is a source of fire. So if you light your Christmas tree, ensure that you don't leave the light on for a very long period of time. Sometimes you leave them the whole day, and for this, they will still be on. Once the heat is generated to a certain point, fire is the next in line. And so we should be very careful not to leave this lighting system on the Christmas tree on for a long period.
Okay.
Again,
We'll deal with a lot more. I just want to hear from Dr. Adam Buna as well, because in as much as we're thinking of fire safety, there's also the issue about security. Dr. Buna, here we are, many people traveling, some may even go on long vacations. What's your expectation, first of all, in terms of personal security, and then we'll tackle the issue about the Ghana Police Service?
Yes, good afternoon, and good afternoon to the other speakers. Mr. Kodia. Mr. Kodia. Yes, with regards to security, I will say this is the time where you want to preferably say it is a period where you have a very large migration, where people move either inter-country or people move inter-community. And so this is the time people tend to spend a bit more than expected. This is also the time people tend to have a bit of drinks, alcoholic beverages, and this is the time people tend to leave home to go have parties and the rest and elsewhere. And in so doing, sometimes their state of alertness, diminishes, reduces significantly. And this is the time, per the statistics and data over the years collected, people who have never been robbed gets robbed, because then you would have moved from a certain rented apartment to a new apartment, or you would have moved from one apartment into another apartment you have just built. It means that you are moving into an area that you are not very familiar with. And so you move and you join people, you don't know who is good, who is bad. And so the advice to those who are living in their homes. So if you are going to leave home for parties, you are going to leave home for church, overnight church services and activities, parties, kindly, if you can, purchase for yourself, if you don't already have one. I have advised that get yourself, a rechargeable or a battery-powered radio device. Some of these Bluetooth devices are rechargeable. You leave them on. Just leave them on. A bit of noise within the room, or if it's a house, the house. The idea is that when someone jumps into your yard or someone comes in, it's difficult for the person to determine whether you are in there or you are not in there, but there's radio. It gives, some amount of deterrence. It gives some time for that whoever it is to be so daring to say, I'm going to break in, especially when you know the way those petty thieves who use popular stock, they will cut your window and try to steal. But when they know you are in there, they are a bit careful. Chances are that it's a 50-50 chance that they will not attempt stealing from you. The other thing is some people have security systems, electronic security systems they've installed, and they've never checked them because they've never been victims of robbery or stealing. This is the time you want to check and make sure you trigger everything, test run everything to make sure they are working. Because this is the time the bad guys get out there to, hit at people. And their other advice is that let's have the 18555, the police emergency number, the 18555. Have it on your speed dial. Put it on number 1. If you have an emergency, you press on it, it goes straight to the police control room. Get the fire service, do the same, on probably speed dial 2. If you do that, chances are that if you encountered an emergency situation, you don't have to think hard and, lose your memory, and you will be able to press 1, you will remember 1 or 2, and then it will call the control room. And this is also the time the traveling public, you go to, the circle area, you have vehicles that are parked with people filled in there, and someone would get down and put his bag on the seat or in the vehicle and check out and get down to go buy something and come back and the bag is gone, and probably the other passengers are gone with the bag. So this is the time your state of alertness of the traveling public and communities should be, very heightened. The police is everywhere. But the truth is that, just like Mr. Kodria was talking about, the police working in collaboration with, probably citizens and organizations like the fire service and the, safety authority, the road safety authority, have brought down accidents and the rest. But the truth is that they cannot be everywhere. You need the community to help them to reduce crime, to reduce accidents and incidents of fire and the rest. So I would say that people should be alert at home, be alert whilst you are out there. Don't carry with you large sums of money. It's needless to carry large sums of money. Now we have mobile electronic devices, for payment and everything. You can literally buy pure water with your mobile phone. So don't carry large sums of money. You are going into a church. This is the time, sometimes churches also get, buckled. You go into a church, everybody is dancing and jumping. You leave your bag with your phone and everything in the bag. You get out, you want to go and put 10 CDs in the collection bowl. You come back, your bag is sitting there, but the actual content of the bag, gone. So people should be alert. Don't leave your bag, your handbag on a seat whilst you are dancing. Tag it around you, hang it around you tight, dance, do your collection, donation and all that.
Right.
And make sure you are watching everybody, or else you will get home and realize your room or your house has been broken into, or the content of your bag completely gone.
Okay, very quickly,
So
let's touch on the aspect of police visibility.
Okay, so with regards to police visibility, the good thing is that now you can see them everywhere. And I'm just, I just left the center of town into the neighborhood I find myself now. And, motorcyclists, vehicles are obeying the road traffic regulation. And it's heartwarming that 1 year from where we've come from, the police has improved significantly. You see them in pairs, you see them on their motorcycles, and making sure that everybody seems to be behaving well. Visibility is good, but I can urge that probably a lot more resources should go into them so we can find them in our communities. At the moment, they are on major highways, but if you look at the police-citizen ratio, it's still woefully inadequate. And so we will find them in the center of town, but we also need them in our city centers. We need them in our communities, the local communities. We need them to be everywhere. And we can only do that if probably, I know that government has just, there's been some recruitment and ongoing recruitment, which is good. But the numbers are still not good. If the numbers can be improved, hopefully 12 months from today, if the numbers can go up to about, add 20,000 or 10,000 more police officers, I think that we will find a lot more police officers in town. But I must say, 12, starting from last year, December up to today, crime rate per the statistics and what I've collected has reduced to about 80% from where we came from. It means that those who used to hit at us are still with us, but they are not able to, come after us. We can only probably work with the police and make sure that we praise them when they do well, critique them if probably things are not going well. But for now, I would say Mr. Kodria and his people at the road safety are doing very well. Even the fire service, they are also significantly doing well. Some time ago, fire incidents were very rampant. That has also dropped. Criminals were hitting at us almost every day. That has dropped. Accidents were so rampant. That has also dropped. So I think that the collaboration is working. Police visibility, superb. And so let's see more of what let's see more. And we are expecting more from the police, if you ask me.
A lot more people will be spending. So let's talk about your personal economy now. Professor John Gachi is Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, joins us via Zoom now. Prof, well, it's the festive season. We're finding ourselves in an economic crisis, but many will still spend. How do we go about that as individuals, spending in a time of austerity? Well, it may differ from one individual to the other, but generally speaking.
Well, thank you. I think generally speaking, we need to prioritize the expenses ahead of us in January. That is the first thing we ought to do so that we don't create difficulty for ourselves, our children in January. That is so crucial. In January, university students are reopening. By 7th of January, some schools are reopening. By 9th or 10th of January, basic schools are going to school, and I believe some SHS students are also going to school. So those who have on their budget payment of fees and the buying of some necessity for their children to go to school will have to be extremely very careful. Restrain yourself from unnecessary expenditure to preserve some money to cater for those necessary expenditures for January. That is what I can say for now.
And in this time, how do you deal with the issue of savings as well as trying to also deal with lifestyle? Because most of the time it's conflicting, you know.
Well, I think savings is by the plan of the person. So you have your saving plan from January already. So that is what you need to follow. But what we're talking now is about trying to preserve money against January, because January is going to be a tough year because a lot of expenditure which are necessary at the beginning of the month. And if you are not careful and you spend within this week and next week for Christmas excessively, you may be wanting, you may be found wanting when it comes to taking care of your bills. So that is what we're talking about. For savings, it's planned for the entire year. It is not now that we'll be doing savings. Of course, there are some people who will receive some bullet amount of money that comes to them. They need to align that with what is ahead of them in January. If you need to cut your travel to preserve money for necessary expenditure for January, you need to do that. If you need to postpone some activities, you need to do that.
But Prof, this is not just about individuals. It's also got to do with businesses. The argument is disposable incomes have dropped, and so businesses may not record that surge in patronage as we used to record in previous festivities. What outlook do you have from your perspective?
Well, we don't have much to tell businesses. They just have to re-strategize for the new year so that they know their way forward and then execute their plan for the new year. If they are going to attract new customers, they need to strategize for that. They need to strategize for cost-cutting activities. Those who don't have plan that they follow for managing their businesses, they need to do that. There are people during the festive moment, they will attend every function using the money belonging to their business and believing that some of the activities they engage in will bring money next year. That is not how it is. You need to plan, and the money that belongs to the business should be set aside, and you feed on what you have. That is how it's supposed to be.
And investment schemes are also being affected as a result of government's austerity plan with the IMF. In these times, of course, do you feel that investor confidence may be affected? A reason for which many may be deterred from putting their funds into schemes that will yield some income for them?
Well, the investor confidence is very low. In fact, it's lowest right now compared to many years past. And in addition to that, there's gross uncertainty in the business environment. That will linger on for some time to come. But the point is that we have known what is going on. So our job is to strategize. This is the time to be reflecting on how business should be done and what you can do in your small way to get a respite for your business. That is what we should be doing right now.
What message would you leave with the general public for them to know about this Christmas and when it comes to their personal economy?
Well, I think they have to balance between enjoying the festive moment and also trying to be thinking about what is ahead of them in January. As I've outlined earlier on, January comes with expenditure across many households, and that should be taken into consideration. It does not mean that we should not relieve ourselves by enjoying ourselves, but that should be matched with what is ahead of us. People should know their strength financially, and then they are able to engage in the enjoyment that is commensurate with their income.
Professor John Kachi, thank you for spending some time with us here on The Pulse. And that's where I want to bring in Mr. Tuahini, because part of the things or items on which many will be spending will be alcohol. But that's also creating another possible danger on our roads. Drink driving. Let's touch on that, Mr. Tuahini. Mr. Tuahini, you'd have to unmute so we can hear the point you're making, sir.
Yeah, sorry. So I was saying that, yes, that's true. And during festive period, it's one major contributory factor to crashes. So what we do is to work with the police. Apart from the inspections we carry out at the terminals, the police, together with our teams in the regions, will normally conduct random checks in drivers on the alcohol content, that to be sure that it stays within the minimum limit. So we always advise that if you would intend to go on the merry-go-round and you cannot stay away from the alcohol, you probably would have to do well not to drive. There are quite a number of options. You could either tag along a friend or colleague who does not drive, or you probably would have to rely on any of these taxi or riding services, Uber, Yango, Tango, and all the others are around, so that you stay away from alcohol, because it has the potential to impair your concentration to the task of driving, and that is such a major risk factor that could create problems for your personal safety and others in the road environment.
I'm just wondering what data you have on that, the drink driving, and how it's created problems for us probably this year and last year, and what measures practically are you taking to deal with that? Well,
so I may not be able to give you immediate data on the alcohol related incidents, but generically I could say that during festive periods, the three key contributory factors, drink driving, driver fatigue, and high speeds. And on the drink driving at the terminals, when we do the pre-departure checks to ensure minimum safety conditions before departure, we have alcometers, and we do random checks of drivers taking control of vehicles. And I said that the police and our units will do random checks in and around popular pubs, just to send a message that you cannot enjoy the alcohol excessively whilst driving. To the traveling public, we are always also encouraged that at major terminals, even though it is very difficult to ban the sale of alcohol at terminals, we have charged the leadership of these transport operators, I mean, they are safety leaders at the terminals, to ensure that drivers under their control stay away from this risk, in order that commuters would also be safe. on the whole, we are using education, complementing that with enforcement to keep the numbers down to the next few weeks to the end of the year.
As association partnerships, for instance, with groups such as GPRTU, what's the extent of engagement with them ahead of this weekend and the festivities?
Yeah, so the last week, the Director General of the Authority, Engineer David Osafo-Adonten, has been going around major safety leaders, we call them, at the terminals, and trying to remind them of the responsibility, our shared responsibility, commend them where commendation is in order, and then try to encourage them to keep an eye on the controls. At the end of the day, we owe the public a collective duty for an improved quality of service. I think we have visited quite a number of the major transport operators, GPRT being one of them, MMT, STC, VIP, and we have shared a strategy with them. It is our expectation that they also take interest in their own brand and put in place the necessary controls that will keep the public safe. At this point, we have been very particular to work collaboratively, even though at the beginning of the year, we have been very forceful in areas where they are required to put in place controls where they have slacked. We have been very frontal to let them know. Next year, opportunity would arise for us to deepen our collaborations. But at this point, I think GPRTU and the others are beginning to appreciate that transport service delivery cannot be business as usual because of the evident threat that if your quality of service is not up to scratch, we are getting to a stage very close in the future where the authority may be able to ground their services, and they are trying so hard to keep their house in order to prevent such an occurrence. At this point, the relationship has been very cordial and very supportive. We can only trust that it could be sustained into the future.
And very finally, if there's anything the general public would have to know from your quarters, what would that message be?
In addition to the 1855 that my friend Adams put out, they are also encouraged to use our social media handles, and the 194, which is the authorities' call center number. We want to encourage the public, especially, that in this period, we expect them to assume frontline enforcement roles, which is that when you join a service or a bus, it is not enough to pray and commit yourself to God. You must be on the lookout for misconduct and risky behavior or decisions that may endanger your life and that of other passengers. If the condition allows, you're encouraged to speak up. If not, you can also notify us through the call center, because from all the experiences we've had, where passengers fail to speak up, oftentimes they fail to prevent a risk from cascading into a crash. So we are in this together. We'll do our bit as duty bearers, but would expect as much support from them, the traveling public, during this period, in order that we can all get to our destinations, meet the family, engage, and return to our various duty posts in sound and safe conditions.
Well, Mr. Etiahine, we are grateful for your time. And let me give the final words to ACFO Timothy Safo-Efum, who's the Public Relations Officer for the Ghana National Fire Service. What would be that message to the general public during these festivities?
My message to the general public will be to be very careful around this particular period. Because, like I said earlier on, everything that is combustible has become dry. The least thing you do, that will result in fire outbreak. And so we should be very, very cautious. Now, in observing all the fire precautions and still the fires come, now we should note that there are fires that automatically they are bound to occur. There are others too that are preventable. It is the preventable ones that we are asking the public to be very careful so that they don't occur. But in spite of all of this, if the fires occur, don't hesitate, but call us on our emergency line 192 192 or 112, and we'll be there to help you. Now we've realized that a lot of Ghanaians are using our emergency numbers for what is not supposed to be. And so those who need our services, when they call, they get behind and it is difficult for them to get through. And so we have made one of our lines available within this period, that if you call our emergency lines and you're unable to get through, just dial 0302 772 446, 0302 772 446, and we'll be there on time to help you.
I thought that would have been the last one, but more often you're criticized for the lack of quick response anytime you're called. How are you dealing with that?
You know, when fires occur, we are not there. And so it is incumbent on whoever is experiencing the fire outbreak to get in touch with us. So calling on time is very, very crucial in firefighting. And the distance that we travel is also part of it. That is why we are stressing that as soon as you experience a fire, whether you can deal with it or not, get in touch with us and we'll be there to help you. Let me assure you that all our fire tenders are in good shape. We have put all of them in a very good condition to cater for this particular season. And so as soon as you experience a fire incident, whether you can deal with it or not, just get in touch with us so that we can be there on time to help you.
Is CFO, we're grateful for your time here on The Pulse, and also grateful to Dr. Bona and Professor Agachi for joining the conversation. You're still with us here on The Pulse. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back to The Pulse, and we're counting down to the biggest family outdoor event in the country. I'm talking about the Joy FM Party in the Park. The event is scheduled for December 26th at the Aburi Botanical Gardens from 9 a.m. till you've had all of the fun. Guess what? We have musicians such as Kidi, Kwame Eugene, Kwabena, amongst others, will be gracing the event. And this year, there's a surprise for daddies who will be coming for this event. Head of Sales and Marketing here at Multimedia, David Max Fuga, joins us in studio. And it's such a pleasure to be having you talk about family in the park. And of course, a lot of people are wondering, why should I be part of this event this year? What would you tell them?
Well, it is important to be part of it because I always said that a family is a very critical part of our lives. Okay, and for those of us who have been working the whole year, we've not had an opportunity to bond with the family. Okay, you leave home around 6 a.m., you come back at 6 p.m. Saturday, there's either there's a funeral, or there's a client's funeral, or there's a client's engagement. I mean, we are all over the place. And so we found it is very important for you to spend at least one day with the family. And that is the 26th December that we, as Multimedia, a family-oriented media house, decided to create that opportunity for the family to bond together, to bond, to interact, to have fun, and to relax. So for me, it is very important that everybody comes to the Aburi Botanical Gardens on 26th.
I'm sure there's someone watching us now who says, well, I'm not married yet. I don't have the big size family as you tell me. So am I missing out on this? What would you say to such a person?
Well, yes, you set that day aside to relax.
Yeah.
Set that day aside to meet other families. Yeah. Set that day aside. I mean, if it's not, you don't have a family of your own. I mean, you come from a family. So you have a sister, you have a brother, you have a nephew. Bring them around. Come and have fun, and then go back home, relax and refresh for the journey ahead of us. That's in 2023.
Yeah, and there's a surprise package for our fathers?
Oh, yes. This year, we've created a Daddy's Corner because over the years, we've noticed that anytime it's a family party in the park, and the word is family party in the park, not an individual family party. It's not an individual party in the park. It's
yeah.
a family party in the park. Right. But we've noticed that over time, the daddies, are always busy people. They come and drop their family, they come and drop the wife.
And they want to leave.
The kids, and then they're off. They say, oh, when you close, call me. I'll come and pick you up. But this year, we decided to create that opportunity for them, that platform for them. Because we have identified as a need, and so we are satisfying their need. So we are creating the daddy's corner for them, where they will have everything that excites a daddy. And so once they drop the wifey and the kids and they are having their own thing, can move to the daddy's corner, where we have live band. We know that is a lot of ladies like live band. So we are creating a live band section. We're going to have drinks, meat, food, everything that you want to be in that corner. And so everything, let me put it, everything that excites daddies, we are providing on that day to get the daddies also to be part of this event. And there's a lot of exciting performances that we're looking up to. Tell us about that as well. Yes, we have live performances from Kwabena. Kwabena will be there. Kwame Eugene is going to be there. KD is going to be there. And for the sake of variety, we are the Perez music will also be there to provide that variety that people need. So it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of music. All that you need to do is to just purchase your ticket, which is 100 cedis for a family of 6. And so if you don't have a family of 6, you can go and ask somebody. Add somebody's family to your family. And then, the tickets are available at the front desk of Joy FM. And there's a short code that will be on the screen. You can also purchase the ticket via the short code. Maybe you could mention that so that someone watching now, we'll put that on the screen shortly. But let's take that again. Joy FM, you can get the ticket at Joy FM. Yes. And then the short code will be up on the screens. Where else can we get the tickets to buy? At the gate. Okay. Okay, so you could come there and just by popular demand. We've decided that we're going to sell some of the tickets at the gates. But for now, purchase at the front desk of Joy FM or the short code that will be on the screen. And then bring your mattress, or you can bring a mat. We are providing every other thing for you. You can choose to bring some food, let wifey prepare rice or something, get some minerals and come around. There'll be food vendors. Right. But because it's a family thing, we want to encourage as many people as possible to bring their food. We are short of security. We've just finished a security meeting. We are short of security. There'll be full police protection. Right. Your cars are safe. Life is safe. The only thing that we are going to, we will encourage our patrons to use the back end of the part of the place. The road through the town will be congested on that day. And so there'll be directional signs so that patrons will use the back end to come. But you can be assured that we have sufficient police protection for you. And then there'll be supervisors at the kids' park to supervise the kids and be sure that they are safe. And then, the rest will be fun. We know that we're not doing this alone, so let's talk about our partners briefly, those who are supporting us also to do this. Oh yes, our biggest appreciation goes to Wilma. That's Fritol and Fortune Rice. They were with us last year and they are still with us. We also have Alliance Life, also as our partners this year. We have Choir Mixture as our partners this year. ATL is also there. Few other ones are coming to do activations. So, but our major partners are Choir Affairs, Wilma, Alliance Life. And some of our viewers are asking, well, any big deals for us there when we come from Fritol and from all of these products? They are all offering on the market. Fantastic prices. There'll be a lot of giveaways. Right. I must mention that we've created a Santa's Grotto this year. Oh, what's that, by the way? Okay, Father Christmas Grotto. Okay, that makes it easier for us. So there'll be Father Christmas. I'll be giving away a lot of freebies to the kids. Right. And most of these things are coming from our sponsors. And so fantastic giveaways for the patrons. All that you need is just buy the ticket and be there. And then we'll take out the rest for you. So I'll leave you to talk to my audience directly. And of course, tell them about why it will be exciting to be part of this year's event. Yes, the only place to be on the 26th of December is the Joy FM family party in the park, where you will come with the family, relax, have fun, and bond. Remember, we say in church that a family that prays together stays together. But we will say a family that bonds together stay united. Yeah. And that's why you need to be a part of this *713 *003 hash. That's the easiest option of getting your tickets for family in the park, and of course we'll be waiting to see you there.
And now Christmas as a season of love, gift giving and merrymaking is not complete without the lights and sparkles of Christmas tree. Guess what? A young Ghanaian, Makafui Ewuku, is solving part of Ghana's plastics waste problem by turning plastic bottles into Christmas trees. Makafui says the passion to save the environment is his motivation. There's more in the following report.
Christmas is a season of gift giving. It is a time many people decorate their houses with lights, and at the center of it all, erect Christmas trees. Christmas trees are elegantly decorated. The trees signify the evergreen life brought to humanity through the birth of Christ. That's not all, because some people also use the Christmas tree as a haven for hiding their Christmas gifts. Makafui Ewuku, CEO of Macintosh Africa, has been using plastic bottles to create Christmas trees. He explains the motivation behind his innovation.
Water, these are and then climate action. These were the goals that appealed to me. And I thought plastic pollution is a big problem in Ghana. Over the years, even though we've been doing a lot more, but we've not been able to actually create sustainable solutions to solve the problem. It was 2 months before Christmas. I was like, how about if I try a Christmas tree from bottles? So I did a sketch. I was working from somewhere. I was packing the bottles from the office, and then I got a welder to do a frame for me in the form of a tree. And then I went to investigate to find out what I can use to perforate holes in the bottles. I did a few experiments. I figured it out. And then I started weaving. In the morning before I go to work, I weave a bit. In the evening when I come back from work, I weave again. A day before Christmas, I had finished the tree. And then I went to Medina Market to buy lighting, to buy decor. And then I put it up. And then I put it in front of my house. I was living in a compound house in Medina Market. Then I decided to go from house to house to just invite the people from homes to come and experience the tree.
Currently, the foundation relies on the benevolence of volunteers for its work. Maud Ewenam Fuga manages volunteers at Macintosh Africa. She said her organization carefully selected students from various backgrounds who have a strong passion to save the climate and brought them together for this project.
We have quite a number of people. We are well over 200 on our WhatsApp platform. Yes, and we have our people based in and out of Accra. So we have people that are based in, even one of the volunteers here is coming from the eastern region. We have people that are based in Accra, Kumasi, whichever regions. So actually they will be coming today. It's just that we are not a lot this morning, but they'll come. And we have well over 30, 40 that actually weave one tree in a day. So
with assistance from volunteers, the foundation collects bottles from the streets, homes, hotels, and other public places. Edward Nyakwanoche is one excited volunteer who brings used plastic occasionally to help implement the plastic Christmas tree project.
When this company came around here, I came to consult them, and they told me their aim and their aspiration of making sure that the country is clean. So I started bringing the bottles here.
Maud then took us through the beautiful and creative process of weaving these bottles into this Christmas tree.
we actually do some beach cleanups with organizations like Plastic Punch. Sometimes too, it's our whole initiative or soul project where we go to some of the beaches like Mighty Beach at Nungwa to rescue and then to recover the plastic. So we do the sorting, and then that is where we now do the perforation of the bottles, and then we do the weaving of the tree. The tree, we sometimes use just 6 to 8 hours to weave a tree. Yes, maximum 20 to 30 people, we are good.
These trees beautify homes and offices and lit up the streets of Accra, but they are not cheap.
Because we are a startup and then we are creating innovations, we receive incubation and acceleration support from the UNDP here in Ghana, and then also through a World Bank and Netherlands government's program called Ghana Climate Innovation Center that used to be at Ashase University. So this has helped us to be able to fine-tune our ideas, receive business and leadership training, and then assess on proof of concept grants to continue to work on the project.
To make work more comfortable while cutting down cost, McCaffrey re-engineered his home into an office, which housed his workshops for shredding, manufacturing metal frames, and the weaving process. Apart from Christmas trees, McCaffrey also uses these plastics to manufacture shopping bags, mats, sandals, and other different artifacts.
So these are just colored plastic waste bags. You can see the green and the black. And this one is predominantly pure water sachet bags that have been used to make this footwear.
According to the World Economic Forum, Ghana produces over 840,000 tons of plastic waste every year, but only 9.5% are recycled. Every year, over 8 million tons of plastics are dumped into the ocean. So as you drink, do not drop the plastics around, because there are fears that by 2050, there will be more plastics in the ocean than fish. People like McCaffrey are determined to be innovative by turning plastic waste into creative, beautiful pieces and saving the environment. What are you doing to save the environment? James Kwesi Aveji's report for Joy News.
And what a great innovation there. Well, I'm asking that question, where would you be at this festive season? Of course, the Labadi Beach Hotel has quite a number of events slated for you this time round. George Ezi is head of sales and marketing, if I should say, at Labadi Beach Hotel. He's joining us in studio, and it's such a great joy to be having you here.
Thank you.
Of course, we're grateful that you hosted us for 9 lessons and carols, and it was an amazing event. I'm sure you enjoyed it as well.
I did myself, as well as wonderful patrons that came.
And many are looking forward to this festive season at Labadi Beach Hotel. But what are you offering this time round?
Well, Blessed, always a pleasure to be with you. You know, Christmas is a wonderful time, a time where we're looking for more excitement, more fun with the family, friends, and all that. And we at Labadi Beach Hotel, we are very certain that at least we need to make it more pleasant and memorable for you, your wonderful family, friends, and colleagues. So we have a lineup of activities beginning tomorrow, 24th. I don't know, but when we were growing up, we used to spend a lot of 24th nights in pubs and other places, trying to make sure that we had all the fun. And so in our Kaba restaurant tomorrow night, we have what we call the Christmas Eve dinner.
So the fun is even starting already.
From tomorrow, 24th of December. We have Christmas Eve dinner, where you and your friends, your loved ones can just walk into the restaurant, make reservations, come and have some wonderful time ahead of the big day, which is Christmas Day. Yes, I'm sad to talk about Christmas Day lunch, because we're fully booked for Christmas Day lunch. Oh yes.
So what would that mean?
Well, okay.
That
so
if you want to come, you don't have the opportunity.
Certainly, not for lunch, but Christmas dinner. There's also, and I'm telling you, I mean, it's the same feeling, the same environment. You know, the Winneba Youth Choir performing live, and it's awesome. So there is Christmas Day lunch and then Christmas Day dinner. That takes us to Boxing Day. And you know, Boxing Day is more of a family day, and Labadi as a family-oriented hotel. So we're looking at receiving you and your families, your friends. Come Boxing Day, 26th of December. Again, it's called the Boxing Day Barbecue. Lots of fun activities for the kids. There will be kids play area, bouncy castles, face paintings, popcorns, and a lot of fun. And we have childminders that we put together who are taking care of the kids, whilst mommy, daddy, and the entire family will also, certainly. I mean, it's a moment that we want everybody to make the most out of it. And so when that is done, then, you know, throughout the week, there's also a lot of activities. You can always come to Labadi. But one thing that excites us, that I'm here to talk about, is how we do our New Year's Eve parties. You know how we send the current year out and then we embrace the new year. It's always been fun. we're always getting demands to organize such parties, but we can only do them at such moments. And so we have themed our Eve of New Year dinner as Aloha. It's an Aloha party, Aloha dinner dance. And this is a Hawaiian themed event. And that night is going to be amazing because we have a firebrand when it comes to live performances in the Black Lace Band. And they are going to perform entertainment to the delight of our wonderful patrons. Think about all the beautiful songs that will never keep you on your seat. You have to jump and dance to it.
And in fact, what I love about Labadi Beach is that you're always bringing different experiences right to our doorstep.
Certainly.
In October, you were here.
October was big.
Yes, precisely. So that's why I'm positive about this one. So how about someone who wants to stay right from 24th all throughout 31st? Do you have a special package for such a person?
We do. But you know the challenge again when it comes to accommodation, we are full at the moment.
Oh, no.
We're full at the moment, but we're not leaving people out of the fun. Aloha Party is going to be one of the best. Amazingly, we have never had any fireworks done the right way, like in Labadi Beach Hotel. And so it's going to, I mean, fireworks are non-stop. When on the stroke of midnight, we're all counting down.
Skies will be lit.
Yes, and I'm telling you, this is amazing fireworks. Beautiful sights and sounds, and it's really lovely. Something you can't really afford to miss. And so New Year's Eve dinner, just pick your phones, call Labadi Beach Hotel, book, and then that's it.
Well, I don't know if it's appropriate to put that out there, but how about people wondering about cost, how affordable or otherwise it is? What would you say about
it's not.
that?
I mean, very, very affordable. I mean, we are doing New Year's Eve dinner for 600 cedis. And kids under 12 will pay half price. And I think for all the year that we've gone through the stress and everything, this is an occasion where you need to pamper yourself a little.
You need to check the adults. Some may come claiming they are under 12, but anyway.
I know, but the most important thing is for us to have a wonderful event. Christmas and New Year together.
Indeed.
And that's happening. But again, like I said, you know, Christmas is a period we also give back to society and our friends and our colleagues. We have thought about the usual hampers that we give, and this time we just want to do something that's unique. So vouchers, and you know, you and I would normally work so hard, and sometimes we tend to forget to take care of ourselves. And we are driving that process of wellness, health and wellness. And so we have vouchers in our spa. You may want to give a friend, a colleague, your parent, your mom, your dad, some wonderful treats.
Special treats,
Certainly, you know, and especially for organizations, corporate organizations that are looking for productivity in the new year. This is a time to buy your staff some vouchers. Let them go and have a better and the best massage in town at Labadi Beach Hotel. Get back rejuvenated, empowered, energized, and be ready to produce all the figures and the standing numbers you're looking for in 2023.
In fact, I am convinced already. If I had the way, would have all stayed at Labadi right from 24th to the 31st. But unfortunately, it's all booked. So just walking there on the 24th, on the
25th, lunch, dinner, and then 26th, Boxing Day, and then throughout. There are also 27, 28 people.
There are some activities happening as well.
Mainly the Aloha Dinner Dance Party, which is really big on 31st December. And then again, you know, 1st January is also a holiday, family times, another barbecue lunch, and then breakfast as well. So wonderful times at Labadi Beach Hotel.
And what's that special Christmas message to my audience? They've been following you throughout the year.
Well, so we'd like to thank all our patrons, customers who have really been with us throughout this whole year. Christmas is here. Let's enjoy the moment. Let's really live the moment. But I also want, on behalf of our board, management, and staff, wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And let's be careful on the road, especially those who are driving. And so if you want to join Labadi throughout these festivities, the numbers to call to book your tables, your reservation will be 0302 772501, 0302 772501. And if it doesn't go through on 01, you can do 02, 03, 03 up to 06. any of the numbers will be in, our staff will pick and
you know what, if you can't find Mr. Stacey, just come to me. I'll find a way of locating him for you, but we're grateful that you're able to join us. Christmas is certainly fun at Labadi Beach Hotel. We're taking a break here on The Pulse. We'll be back shortly. And rice breeders at Blimso number 1 risk losing their livelihoods to illegal mining. Rice farmers in Blimso number 1 in the Ahafo North-South-East district of the Ashanti region resisting attempts by illegal miners to ravage their over 300 acres farmlands. But their resolve to push out the illegal miners and save Ghana some local rice seeds appears bleak. A mini dam serving as the irrigation source to the farm is now polluted with heavy illegal mining slurry, impacting adversity on the farm produce. Emmanuel Bright Kweku visited the farm and the community and has come through with this report.
A huge illegal mining pit is dug in the middle of a 300-acre rice plantation catered by over 80 farmers at BMSO number 1. The illegal mining activity is happening right behind the home of the Member of Parliament for Ahafo North-South constituency. Unprovoked by the devastations caused, the illegal miners continue to invade other parts of the rice farms. Mahama Moro and his colleagues have been working on the farmland for over 22 years.
And also Swa, a fan say, Yay solar panel, solar and twins who made good has so. Then now, what it will go more than or more galaxy for a bomb than come a hope a assassin so, and yet Sasibia Heke. I say, I say, so am I a Juma from the year 2000. So until we had done this, we will cry. I'm the sea down my. I'm glad I was at 2. Galam say, I see for say, Galam say, a music and to me sit down. Resistance
Residents of BMSO number 1 are well known for their involvement in both rice and maize farming, positioned as the second largest rice production hub in the Ashanti region. The farmers here grow a variety of local rice seeds. They depend heavily on the BM stream running through their plantations for farming activities.
This mini dam was constructed under the SWALCO4 administration. That is according to the farmers over here. It was constructed for irrigation purposes. But unfortunately, the crystal clear water has turned into a milky brown sludge.
The highly polluted water has forced the farmers to shut down the irrigation canal distributing water across their farms. Maize and paddy rice plants along the stream are dying out as a result.
President Akufo-Addo obedi bi. Vice President Baumia obedi. President Speaker of Parliament MPs Assemblyman Committee for will be abedi munibi. And so the says Ghana ya no duane toagu. Okoka o say ya pepe for.
The government's efforts of making the country self-sufficient in rice producing is now threatened as production on the farmlands are depreciating.
Then I say you don't 2 times. And I'm saying soon say na say time and soon to rain season I don't know say yentimi san no bi. Just next year. And you bet me as I do wouldn't be until ama a more stock was yenya.
Mitimi twa mo no almost be 120 bars. This year, galamsey for no buy no. Mo am twa nyina 18 bars. 18 bars me so makogi bosia wa amano bank. As is your interest a dem anim no. Enya sem koto over 100 million. Isi am fa kwa be so na akutuaka. Amo no de mi twa mitimi nya bi tua meka na skani bia yeden aka me botomi nya bi hwa me school.
Many of these farmers are currently out of business, but the few ones struggling for water source are resorting to domestic sources to irrigate and apply fertilizer on their farms.
drone the old body a quite chiricacra. Now, collect and see ya, do board drew, almost safe fee, near the board drew a hand.
These farmers at BMSO number 1 have their source of livelihood on the line as the faceless illegal miners continue to ravage their lands. For JoyNews, Emmanuel Bright-Kweku reporting.
Still on agriculture, female dependents and cashew farmers receive beekeeping training. Olam Food Ingredients as part of its community programs aimed at improving the livelihood of cashew farmers and their households in providing technical and infrastructural support on beekeeping to over 100 female dependents of cashew farmers in the Bono East and Savannah regions. The move, according to the branch manager of Olam's Food Ingredients, Royal Kuti Woyeri, is to create sustainable jobs to generate an alternative source of income capable of supporting them during off-cashew seasons. And as Sabit has more in the following report.
A total of 100 female dependents of cashew farmers in the Bono East and Savannah regions have received beekeeping trainings and additional hives and processing equipments as part of Olam Food Ingredients project, which aims at addressing food insecurity and creating sustainable alternative source of livelihood for farmers in rural cashew growing communities. The project, according to the branch manager for OFI, Royal Kuti Woyeri, is implemented in partnership with Costco Wholesale.
Today's event is yet another new project that we are bringing on board in beekeeping to support female farmers in general. We are looking at supporting them with bee keeping items, and also to train them so that they are able to engage in this enterprise. And so that is what we are here. The project actually is funded by Costco. Yeah, Costco is going into partnership with OFI to be able to execute this project.
He also noted that the move forms part of OFI's corporate social responsibility that aims at eradicating poverty in rural communities, adding that beneficiaries must work on making good use of the training and equipment received.
As part of our corporate responsibility and sustainability, today's event is yet another big one, and we entreat the women who are the beneficiaries to make good use of these items that we are presenting to them, to ensure that they use them for the purposes that we are supporting them, and at the end of the day they will benefit to be able to support their households, even as their husbands are also struggling on the cashew farms.
Some of the beneficiaries were thankful to the organizers of the training and asked that the beekeeping kits would help them in supporting their families and their children's education.
Samre ya ebeba emaye ye ko gina kashi na se a the way esi abonhyere no emaye ni je na kashi ni su twamudi a na ye ntimi anse wusika ni ya ye ho kire ye enti samonso mbeboa ya ma fan se wo na ebe emre ni niema ye tumi aye den anye bi na ye tumi anya bi a ka ebeboa enti ka kashi ni twoma na ka ede no nso so aye den asa nan na ka aboa your sisters mu cashew no bakwa how dey ye na mu bebre say ebi ebeduru afi bi kura na cashew no nyame ama wo dey ntimi anso a na e dey how ba mofra no doso hweyem nti say wo ya omo dey abai ye nya ebi dade afi na che say omo bra ebi yetimi hu se ne omo kan no say ye di so ya fa so beba ye so say cashew no kwa ye betim dey no aboye ma no ho ban ama ye ho nkyere ye ekoyi a the no best problem be akopem say cashew no beba amiyenya bi.
Also present at the event is the Municipal Chief Executive for Techiman, Benjamin Yaojako, who was thankful to OFI's initiative, a move he said conforms government's poverty eradication measures. Anna Sabit, JoyNews, Techiman.
And it is an enterprise that was built to create employment for women who became single mothers due to a controversial customary practice that exists in many parts of the Upper East region. More than 20 years on, the Zwarungu Single Mothers Rice Processing Center has survived some difficult times to become the well-established, but despite support from both government and non-governmental organizations, the women who work there still struggle to make profits, especially with the current economic crisis in the country. JoyNews correspondent Albert Sori has more.
The Zwarungu Single Mothers Rice Processing Center was started in the year 2001 by a group of women who became single mothers due to a rather controversial customary practice which bars a man and a woman from the same community from getting married. The reason behind this practice is that people from the same community may have one descendant and therefore are considered to be brothers and sisters. However, in contradiction to this same belief, amorous relationships between men and women from these same communities are not exactly frowned upon. To put it simply, sexual relations between men and women from these communities are not a taboo, but marriages between them are strictly prohibited. A child born out of such relationships cannot be claimed by the father. By custom, such a child belongs to the father of the woman, and therefore the biological father may choose not to support that child in any way. One of the results of this practice is that the women who give birth to children from this type of relationship find themselves automatically becoming single mothers. The women who started the Single Mothers Rice Processing Center here in the Daborin community of Zwarungu were victims of this old traditional practice. They wanted to come together to support each other to economically empower themselves.
So we came together as single mothers because in the communities with the sister-in-bed relationships, most of them are always dropouts. They drop out from school. The man cannot marry you because it's a taboo. Sometimes you cannot marry again because nowadays men don't want to marry women who are already having children. So you'll be rendered hopeless. If you are not able to take care of them, they become street children.
Faustina Abagare is a member of the Single Mothers Association and currently runs the Rice Processing Center. She says the center has survived many hurdles over the years to become a well-established enterprise, economically empowering hundreds of women. Also, the association no longer limits membership to women who became single mothers as a result of that traditional practice, but to widows as well.
We were more than even 900. We came as Single Mothers Association, but widows are also included. And now we have the women in agriculture, which the women in 7 districts in this region have come together to see how best we can talk to the duty bearers. After farming, what next? Processing. And we need help from the government. So we've come together and we have formed this Women in Agriculture.
Today, the Zwarungu Single Mothers Rice Processing Center is well equipped thanks to support from a Canadian charity and from the government.
We were trained into rice processing by the Ministry of Agriculture, and then Food Research Institute trained us to be able to parboil rice differently from the local way. Youth Harvest used us to train all the women groups who are doing rice processing in the region. Sokodevi is a Canadian NGO that has come to help those women whom we trained to enhance their rice processing. So they came and partnered with us We have our 3-in-1 miller there. They brought the color sorter. They brought all these machines so that it can enhance our rice processing.
The rice is milled, weighed according to accepted standards, and packaged right here. However, due to the current economic crisis, this rice processing center is no longer bringing in much profits, and the women are sometimes saddled with debts from unpaid electricity bills, among other challenges.
The mill that we have has no spare parts now, and we fabricate the sieves from ITTU. And ITTU, what the material they use, it doesn't last. In a week, if the machine has no problem, every day we can do 5 tons or so, but because our machine has a problem, that wastes our time. The electricity bill is very high. Every month it comes up. We cannot always pay. Sometimes we have to remain in arrears like that. The inputs are now high, fertilizer is high, so the cost of our rice is going up. And you see this imported rice, they are not costly like that. And we are competing with them. We can't sell like they are selling.
At the moment, the Single Mothers Rice Processing Center supplies the National Food and Buffer Stock Company, and that helps them to stay afloat. But customers from among the general public rarely visit this place, let alone purchase the rice.
100 kg rice that the farmers sell to us. Formerly, we used to buy it for 300, 320, but now it's getting to 450, 500. If you wash it, the chaff alone that comes out of it takes half of the rice. So sometimes we make even, sometimes we don't. We used to supply the schools, but now when this government came in, they said buffer stock should supply. So now our rice is being bought by them. The price is not good, but it's better than now.
Bolgatanga East District Chief Executive David Amwa says the District Assembly is doing all it can to help improve the fortunes of this processing center.
A majority of the produce that they have here are organic. When we get visitors coming here, it's a number one thing I talk about to them, that when they are going, they should buy the rice and go and taste it and see how delicious that rice is. We've recommended from public programs that we think we need to use it to cook. We buy from them. The Agri Director is seriously championing this cause. Even has come here a number of times to discuss as to where we can support them.
For now, these women at the Zwarongo Single Mothers Rice Processing Center are hoping that investors will take an interest in their business and stretch a hand of support in their direction. For Joy News, Albert Sorry, Zwarongo.
And that's all we have for you here on The Pulse. I am Blessed Sogah. Log on to myjoyonline.com. We have updates on our stories there for you. Next is Let's Talk Showbiz.